is Art Zager. Bombing is when you go up on a stage and you tell jokes or do whatever form of entertainment that you're doing, and it doesn't exactly catch the audience's attention or get them behind you in any way. I think that bombing is a fantastic experience. I genuinely enjoy bombing because it helps you to figure out what's working, what isn't working. The worst I ever bombed was I told a really inappropriate joke in front of people I should not have been telling that joke in front of, and I learned to not tell inappropriate jokes in front of people that shouldn't be hearing those inappropriate jokes.
That was your worst bomb?
Yeah, that's as far as I'm going into describing my worst bomb. Anything past that will probably get you in trouble.
Malachi Morgan. I'll tell you, I used to be terrified of bombing for a long time. Super fucking scared of bombing because it sounded like the scariest thing ever. But then the first time I did it, really wasn't that bad. Now I'm not really scared of it anymore. It's kind of just like whatever. But the first time is always scary whenever you can see it going that way because it's never happened before, so it gets really nerve-wracking. But no, once you've done it before, it's not too bad. It always sucks. You always want to do well, but sometimes you don't. That's just the way the fucking game goes. So you just push through it and hope for better next time.
What is your worst bomb ever?
Worst ever. I don't know. I could tell you the longest I've ever bombed for was whenever I did a mic at what was it called? Like La La Land or something like that, and everyone there was just basically there to like play darts and whatnot, and probably would have preferred not to have comedians there to begin with. So I was supposed to do 5 minutes, and as soon as I got up there and realized how bad I was gonna bomb, not one single person was laughing or even paying attention, I don't think. I decided to do 10 minutes, and I just told like every single joke that I could think of, like almost out of like spite for the crowd. So that's the longest I've ever bombed for, and it was pretty bad. So I'd have to say that one. I would never want to do that mic again for sure.
Name's Fritz Wagner. I'd say bombing. And bombing really is when you get 0 laughs, but as you get better, it's just doing way worse than you expected to. And if you haven't done it in a minute or when you're first starting out, it means you're stuttering and you're sweating and all you want to do is get off stage. But a big part of like starting out is being able to take it on the chin and finish your set like a man or a grown woman. But yeah, that's what bombing is. So worst bomb is at this, it's called the Comedy Bar in Chicago. They did this show where they would give the audience tomatoes. They would give them foam tomatoes, and everyone would get tomatoes thrown at them. But this is just to give you an idea of what this club was like. Good club. So this was not during one of those shows. This was during an open mic. And I tried this joke about how in space your balls would be 0 gravity, so they'd float real nicely. And I said it was like little chubby angels were like holding your balls with their nice, soft, childlike hands. I got booed. So yeah, they don't like talking about childlike hands touching your balls. So that's the worst bomb ever.
My name is Ethan, and if I were asked to describe bombing, I would say that bombing is like the worst feeling you could possibly feel. It's hard to describe. It's like you feel like you really just disappointed everyone, you disappointed yourself, you really want to do a good job, and it just didn't come together that night, and you just want to sit in a corner and just like curl up and die, basically. It's like the worst feeling in the world. The worst time I ever bombed, there's a couple, but the one that sticks out the most to me was when I was, I think I'd been doing comedy for like 6 months up in New York, and I was doing this show at Dangerfields, and the guy that hosted the show had to, who books the show, do another spot across town at Caroline's, and he was like, Ethan, you're booking the show, but how about this? You just take over me, you host the second half of the show, do a few minutes up top. The guy was planning on doing my normal set. So I was like, okay, cool. Oh my, first 6 months in, I'm gonna host second half of a show at Dangerfield's, awesome. So I get up there and I told my jokes for like 3 minutes, and the show also started late. It started at 8, And it was like after 11 o'clock by the time I got up. There's still like 2 comics left. And I performed for 3 minutes, and the entire time I didn't get a nod, a little chuckle, a little laugh, anything. It was dead silent for the entire time. And then I was just like, all right, I'm gonna bring up your next comic. And that was probably the worst time I ever bombed.
My name is Shane Justin. Bombing is essentially. Start again.
Oh, go ahead, man. It's wrong.
I'm already bombing right now. Leave this in, actually.
Yeah.
So the bombing is essentially just not doing what you wanted to do in your head on stage in front of people on the spot. And I think the worst time I bombed was when I was paralyzed on stage mentally. And I was a robot and I was stuck, and the room was pretty full, and I was in Orlando. And there was no energy, there was no enthusiasm to any of the jokes. I just said it like I was having, not even a conversation, almost like I was reading a book. Like that, structured. It just was so uncomfortable, and I couldn't wait for it to end. The best part of that, and any night I've ever bombed, was that I will come to my senses at the end, and I will end it gracefully and be like, hey, sorry, or whatever, and make whatever excuse I had. But yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's something that teaches you and it keeps you growing. And yeah, I love it. It keeps this process more something to look forward to, something to work at, and that's the best part.
And that was your worst bomb ever?
Worst bomb ever, where I was like inside uncomfortable, and I just didn't. There was no recall of anything that I ever wanted to say. I didn't know what. I couldn't even look at the video.
Wow.
It was that bad. But I do have the video, and maybe later on I will put it out just because I don't care. But yeah.
My name is Alex Boyce, and I'm a stand-up comedian. And bombing, it's awful. It's very indescribable. It's hard to come up with words to describe how bad bombing is and how awful you feel, how visceral it is. I've bombed many, many times, and probably my worst bomb that I've ever had was at a bar in Orlando, and I did a very, very inappropriate joke about basically how everybody who died in the Holocaust was a pedophile. And a woman got up and she pointed at me and she said, "That's not okay. That's not all right." And she got up and left. And my first thought was yeah, no, that's not appropriate at all. That's not okay. Trust me, I'm on the same page. And I ate it for the rest of the set. And there's a lot of people there. And you leave, you walk outside, and you're inhabited by this feeling that it's gotta, I've never been molested, but I feel like it's gotta be what it's like after you get molested. It's just so bad, and you feel empty, and you're questioning yourself, and all this. It's a lot of insecurity, but it makes you stronger. And I'm somebody who I've had social anxiety my whole life. Bombing a couple dozen times really knocks the social anxiety out of you, because you just don't care anymore. After you bomb a bunch of times, you don't really care about how people think of you. So it's good in that way, and it makes you a stronger comedian. But man, that feeling sucks. Sucks.
If you want to hear some, are you filming right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
No, go right ahead.
I was gonna talk about something else. Okay. Let's do one question at a time. I'm pretty high.
All right, give me your name first.
Okay. My name is Per Bjørn Poulsen.
Well, what does bombing mean to you, and how does it make you feel?
Well, basically, it's when people don't laugh at the things that I think are funny, and it makes me feel like I'm terrible at comedy, terrible at it, which I probably am. But yeah. So my worst bombing so far, that was coconuts, and the entire set, no one laughed, and my material was terrible, and my delivery was terrible. But the feeling of when I first started bombing, and it just free balls from there, just no one laughs. So you skip the pauses that are natural for the laughs, and then you just go too fast for everything, and no one is really understanding what you're saying at this point because you're just so confused. Yeah, that sucks.
That was your worst bombing?
Yeah. At the same time, well, in a way, I was high as a kite and I was drunk. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, you know. But then later, when I like started writing stuff, the feeling of bombing. I don't know if I bombed that hard. Yeah, I bombed hard. Yeah, I bombed hard at Coconuts. Yes, at Coconuts, I bombed hard. Yeah, it's terrible. That's also terrible.
Bombing is going on stage and just not getting laughs, and it sucks. It's like when you get naked in front of a chick the first time and like she snickers. It's no bueno. It's no bueno. What else do you want? My worst bomb? My worst bombs. First time I went to the Side Splitters in Wesley Chapel. Went in. Paid a guy $20. He filmed sets for the comedians, and I did a 5-minute set, and I got no laughs for the first 4.5 minutes. It ended. I felt like shit. I went home. I tried to forget about it, and 2 weeks later, this motherfucker sends me the video, and I was just like, shit. Like, I paid you $20, man. You couldn't add a laugh track. Like, it was terrible. It was awful. So that's bombing, man. It sucks.
All right, I'm Mike Lee. I've been a comedian for 12 years, and yes, I have bombed my ass off on stage. I actually got to open for Louis Anderson at McCurdy's in Sarasota, and it was an awesome experience. Now, Louis Anderson doesn't use an opener, so to speak, like somebody who comes out and does a feature-length set, but he'll allow guest spots. So when I say I opened for him, I did a guest spot. 5 minutes is all I got. The first 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes went really, really well. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just lost them. I had no idea what happened. It wasn't like the joke. I don't know. They laughed at the joke right before it. And then the next joke, nothing. The joke after that, nothing. Wow. The joke after that, nothing. So for my last 2 minutes of my set, just ate shit. It was awful. And then at McCurdy's, they have a stairwell that goes down into the dressing room. And I go down into the dressing room. For those of you who don't know, Louis Anderson was a very funny young man who grew into a very funny old lady. And I walked down there and he's just standing there, just this big Louis Anderson with that weird awkward grin, and he goes, "What happened?" And that is all I'll ever remember of Louis Anderson. God rest his soul. But it was an amazing experience. But yeah, it was another time that I ate shit. But the worst bomb that has ever happened was a woman who did a silent boo. I did a joke that was pretty controversial at the time, and I thought it was great. Most of the audience laughed, but there was one woman who was sitting like right there, just off stage, like in the front row, and she just looked at me and she mouthed the words, "You're not funny," and that was like soul crushing. And she did that. That joke comes about 15 minutes into my feature set. So for those of you who don't know, that's a 30-minute long set. So about halfway through, I got soul crushed, and then the rest of the show was like me. I might as well just gone home and shot myself in the head.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system.